The theme of today's episode is little Nolan did not ever believe his mother whenever she told him anything. This all happened when I was like 2-3 years old. We used to have a fan in the house. I would be fascinated with this thing because you could put your face in it and talk like Darth Vader. I am your father. I wonder what it'd be like if I stuck my finger in there. So I would start to like get real close dangerously to the grate here. And my mom, of course, was nervous about me doing that. She said, hey, don't stick your finger in there. And I went, yeah, of course. Why would I do that? Don't stick your finger in there. It's gonna cut your finger off. And so I said, my mom says these things, but really does she know what she's talking about? Let's find out. And I went and I stuck my finger in the fan, and little 2-year-old finger went brrrr. When I pulled my hand out, it was dripping in blood. To this day, I still have the scars on my finger. You would think after that experience that I would say, okay, mom knows what she's talking about. I'm not going to ever question her. Not the case. She was ironing clothes with an iron, and she put the hot iron on the ironing board and was going to walk away. And she said, hey, I'm going to go to the kitchen. Don't touch the iron. And I went, yeah, of course. Why would I? I see that you rubbing it on clothes and all this steam comes in. It must be hot. And she goes and leaves, and I said, but really, how hot is that? I put my whole hand on the thing and went, shh, and I just screamed, and my mom came running back. She's like, what happened? I was like, it's hot. It's really hot. And she's just like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? I told you not to do that. I was like, I don't know. And so you think after that moment, I would think, whenever my mom says not to do something, don't do it. But I couldn't quite get the gist of this lesson. And so sure enough, my mom was cooking in the kitchen, and she had a pot on the stove, and she was boiling water. Took off the pot, and I saw the coils. This was one of those old stoves with the coils, and it was red and it's glowing. And I was like, ooh, pretty. And she's like, don't touch the stove. Remember what happened with you and the iron? I was like, yeah. And she's like, and it hurt really bad. I was like, yeah. She's like, this is just like that. I went, oh, really though? So she turned around and was tending to the boiling water in the sink, and I was like, I don't know, this bright red glowing thing looks so calm and peaceful. It can't be that hot. Instead of using my hand, I just got my finger and went, shh, and boom! It was like, ah! My mom turns on, what? I'm like, it's hot! The stove is really hot! Why do you keep doing this? I keep telling you don't do stuff, and you keep doing it. I was like, I don't know. And so, again, you'd think that after all of these experiences that I would have learned my lesson, but the worst one, and you're wondering like, what's worse than burning your hand on a stove, getting your fingers chopped off in a fan? What could be worse than that? Well, my mom used to cut my hair all the time, and she would sit me on a stool in the garage, and every time she would get to cutting around my ears, she would do the same thing over and over. Don't move. I'm cutting around your ear. If you move, I might cut your ear off. Don't move. And every time I'd hear it, the more and more I'd hear it, the more it would sound funny to me. Like, how can you cut my ear off if I just move my head? She got to the ear part and she said, don't move. I'm gonna cut around your ear. Don't move. And I went, yeah, of course. Okay. And she started cutting around, and I remember going, this is where I'm gonna try and see what happens if I move. And I went like this. I just did one of those like little like shivers. My excuse, if she were to be like, why did you move? I told you not to move. I could have said, oh, I saw a bug. Well, I didn't get a chance to say that because as soon as I moved and did that, she literally cut my ear because she's right here, and she cut right here. And I think there's like a scar here now that I think about it. But anyways, she cut my ear, and all this blood started gushing down my face, and I went, ah! And I thought for sure that I had lost my ear because the sting and burn of the cut, and it was right where she said she would cut my ear off. So I thought I had lost my ear, but thankfully she just nicked it, but all this blood came down. and she didn't know that I moved. She thought it was her fault. She was mortified, and she's like got blood all over her shears, and she sees blood dripping down my face, and I'm like, my ear, is it gone? And she's like, I don't know, get your hand on it. I'm so sorry, I don't know what happened, I was so careful. And I just milk that thing like, I don't know why you would do that to me. And maybe it's because I was hoping that I could like store up all these feel good points that she wouldn't spank me ever again or something. I don't know, I just milked that thing. And I was also worried that if she found out that I did in fact actually move, that she would be mad at me. But it wasn't until I was an adult that I admitted it to her, because she had remembered the story when we were out somewhere and something had happened and it sparked her memory. She says, oh yeah, and remember that time that I cut your ear when I was cutting your hair? Oh, I'm such a terrible mother. I'm so sorry. I still think about it to this day. And I went, oh, yeah, about that. Funny story. Now, mind you, I'm an adult now, and she is much older. And I was really worried that she would reach for that spatula in the kitchen and start spanking me as an adult, because she looks so like, what? I feel really guilty that I made my mom think that all these years that she had unsteady hands and she nearly cut off the ear of her only son. I just, for some reason, never wanted to believe anything my mom said, and I've got the scars to prove it. So if you have any kids at home that are like me, that just don't believe anything you say and continue to self-maim or injure themselves because they just don't believe a word you say, I'm here to say that it gets better, maybe. I'm still alive, thank God, and there's hope. There's hope for your child. But I'd love to hear your stories. So if any of you have stories of your kids doing this, or if you have your own stories of you doing it yourself, leave them in the comment section below and let's continue this conversation. I love interacting with you and hearing your stories. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you on another episode real soon. Be safe out there. Bye.